Hey guys, and welcome to a tournament showdown between myself, a Rubber Ducker War, and Ice Power. And boy oh boy did we have some awesome fun games in this tournament. You'll most likely be seeing a few of them appear on the channel over the next couple of weeks, including some more up against Ice, because this was not just a one-off, we were in a multi-game series. But I must admit, this is probably my favourite ever game I have played in a tournament. It was so crazily epic. My opponent picked Greenskins, knowing my loathing for them, so I did the only thing any sane, brave man would do. I hard-countered myself and picked Dowie to prove a point, and a point I am here to prove with a Royal Dowie Air Force. This is a disaster matchup normally for the forces of the Dwarfs, but one way you can play it is trying to dominate the sky game. We have some gyrocopters. We have gyrocopters with brimstone guns, in fact 2 of each. Now, the brimstone guns are quite often picked, but why do you bring these normal ones? They're not quite so good at taking down the key targets like Grom, Giant Ritual Hag, and other such units. But they're very good at killing archers. They get them off the field quickly, particularly those pesky little goblins, so I like including them quite a bit here to help out. We do have the Skyhammer as well, Regiment of Renowned Gyro Bomber, looking to bring the pain, has a nice slow, and can certainly hunt down Grom the Paunch, who I am most likely expecting. For our main battle line, we've gone for a relatively small Dowie box build. We have Warriors Dragonfire Pass and Dwarf Warriors holding the front line down, though we are rearranging at the moment. We have Norgrimling's Ironbreakers, Regiment Renowned Ironbreakers with a bad to the bones colour scheme, looking to bring the fiery pain to our enemy here today. And we have some more Ironbreakers on the left-hand flank. All these guys shall be backed up by Miners with Blasting Charges and a basic unit, because I couldn't afford any more. We have 2 units of Rangers, just to try to outshoot enemy kite and skirmish, that kind of stuff. And we have Grombrindle the White Dwarf coming in with his Flash Bomb, leading the army. And the real reason I brought him is for that Flash Bomb to try to catch out Grom. As for my opponent, it is pretty much as you would expect from a standard Greenskin build. A load of Skirmish Cav, Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers here, Morgos Mangy Marauders, Death Creepers, all that good stuff to try to harass an air game. We also have double Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, one of which is the Regiment of Renown. And the main battle line is a load of Fanatics, the AP Loons, all that good stuff, and some goblins try and sort themselves into the back line with help of nasty skulkers. And we have 2 units of the Black Orcs for their glorious armor-piercing damage. We have a Giant Ritual Hag coming in with Spirit Leech spam as to be expected, and also a Night Goblin Shaman with Vindictive Glare, so the kind of typical picks right now, alongside Grom the Paunch. I'm sure some of you guys are very tired of Grom. I was expecting him in this matchup, so we're going to be taking all those oaths and grudges that we've made against Grom and trying to bring the pain, but it's certainly not going to be easy whatsoever. Ice is a real top-tier tournament player. It looks like he's already focusing down one of the Brimstone guns with those magic missiles and Spirit Leech combo. We are getting pretty good damage on the Gormorgub's Mangy Marauders here, though, with our gyrocopters, which is good to see. But likewise, taking a considerable amount of damage ourselves. Luckily, all our models are still alive, and now we can start poking down Grom, being a big nuisance to him, and dealing damage, at least force him away from the battle for now. We're just rearranging our little box here, repositioning for when the Greenskin advance does indeed arrive, and the gyrocopters are continuing to hunt down Grom. He's trying to hide in the forest, but you can run, but you cannot hide from the mighty Dowie Air Force. This unit of Brimstone Guns is getting danger low, unfortunately. Popping a few shots once again into the Mangy Marauders, but they are being forced from the field now. Still 3 models, so if we can bring them back, they will have all of their damage output. And our initial harass hasn't gone super well. We've not really connected with Grom too well. This unit of gyrocopters is basically done with that Spirit Leech coming on top. We are doing some okay damage here to nasty skulkers and trying to poke them down, but it is looking a little bit scary at the moment, although the gyrocopters do indeed rally here, and now the bolts do sing from those rangers, and we really want them to focus down the Morgrim's Mangy Marauders, Death Creepers, and other skirmish cavalry to enable our Air Force to really win the day. And the Air Force is still looking relatively healthy at the moment, continuing to hunt down Grom the Paunch, and it looks like that unit of nasty skulkers may indeed waver and break. Poor Gyrobombers, or Gyrocopters I should say, are still getting focused down here, but the Rangers are now trading fire into skirmishes, which is perfect for me. This is just what I want. Really want to get rid of these archers as quickly as possible, and you can see the Morgrim's Mangy Marauders, a few of those wolves eating the dirt there. Grom's trying to get involved in the action, but we're continuing to harass him here, this time with triple Gyrocopter. We're slowing him down. Lucky Banner is currently popped though, so he won't be taking too much damage, but at the end of the day, damage is damage. Blasting charges are looking to go up. We would rather be hitting on these fanatics. As you can see, they are going to be using their little twirly-whirlies down the line of the Warriors Dragonfire Pass, but they're also going to be connecting some of their own troops, and luckily all our big units, like the Noggle and Ironbreakers, won't be taking the devastating attacks here from those fanatics. The front line of goblins has been eviscerated by blasting charges, which is always good to see, and where are all my gyrocopters? They are indeed hunting down Grom's fat old booty. This is a bit of a mistake by me, though. I shouldn't be using all of my gyrocopters, just the brimstone guns. The others should be coming back and fighting in the main scrap. Looks like the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers have popped into the rear of the Ironbreakers, but Ironbreakers have 125 armor. You can charge them with pretty much whatever you want. They're going to hold the line for a very long time, particularly with a legendary warrior such as Grombrindle the White Dwarf counter-charging back in. Delicate Squigs are now hopping on top of those Rangers. Ironbreakers should be able to turn and engage here. Hopefully, the Miners do chase away some Night Goblins, which is lovely for me, as more Blasting Charges do come down to connect with the Nasty Skulkers, as well as the Black Orcs. And in this sense, we have now pulled back some of our Gyrocopters, and are jumping straight into combat with the Spider Riders, looking to apply as much pressure to them as possible and force them off the field, as we do have the Brimstone Guns chasing down Grom. We're actually going to pull back here with the Skyhammer, because we need some big bombing runs down here. The Black Orcs are really starting to chew through our troops, which is a little bit scary here. The Ironbreakers are holding fantastically, of course, as always, but the Dwarf Warriors shall be eating a ward-up charge from the Black Orcs, not something we like to see every day of the week. Giant Ritual Hag is currently vomiting on people, which is a little bit rude. And now Grombrindle is going to be charging it. He's popped Grombrindle knows no fear, and he shall be hacking and dicing and slicing at the Giant Ritual Hag, trying to take her head from her shoulders. You can see some explosions going down on the Black Orcs. The Skyhammer is lining up a rather juicy bombing run. There's so many units trying to break the Dwarf Warriors, but they're currently unbreakable because of Grombrindle. And boom, boom, boom. Those Black Orcs take some pretty meaty damage there. Nothing too crazy, but still it was doing some good work. We can now float over onto these Nasty Skulkers and try to get them off Grombrindle's back. And with one blasting charge, those Nasty Skulkers go from nearly full health. We're followed up as well by Ironbreaker blasting charge. Welcome to Estalia, gentlemen. More blasting charges go down on the Black Orcs this time and Goblins. And the Ironbreakers, Norgoblin ones, are basically full health at this point in the game. Morgob's Magi Marauders are going to be receiving a blasting charge to the face from the Ironbreakers. Should be enough to break these guys off the field. And where is Grom? So he's pretty much absorbed all our ammunition from our anti-large gun, which is a little ridiculous. But Grom, you know, he's very tanky at the end of the day, but we've got him a lot nearer his healing cap than he was prior. And in the distance, Gyrocopters as well, trying to outskirmish the Death Creepers, but it's not going super well there. We're starting to get surrounded. More Night Goblins are coming in, and of course these are all Fanatic Goblins, so they should be able to do some good work down at the Ironbreaker line. But Black Orcs have been forced off here at this moment, due to those glorious bomb runs earlier on. You see the Fanatics getting some disgusting value here on the Ironbreakers, who will now be able to turn and engage though, and finish off the Night Goblins for sure. Balance power is currently dead even. We still have 47 Black Orcs here, returning to the fray, and I've kind of just got these Ironbreakers left, and Grombrindle as a central force, and we're running out of ammunition with our Gyrocopters. Luckily, this unit has a bucket ton of ammo, but it isn't our armor-piercing Brimstone guns, it's just the basic variety, which could be a little bit scary here. I do wonder if we've got any bombing runs left, and it looks like we do indeed, hitting those Night Goblins and Squig Hoppers, followed up with shots here. We may be able to break these recently buffed up Black Orcs. The Ironbreakers continuing to hold the line here with Grombrindle. The Black Orcs take one more shot and start to run for their lives. We do have some more Gyrocopters here coming back. They do have their bombs still, though not much ammunition, and Grom, unfortunately, is going to escape. We just simply couldn't catch and kill him, but if we destroy the rest of his build, then my opponent won't have any opportunities really to kind of cycle charge Grombrindle to death. We will be able to just catch him and kill him, which is what we want, of course. Ironbreakers are charging forward, looking to meet the Black Orcs in single combat, followed up by the White Dwarf, though, who's kind of charged into no man's land there, and was like, oh, run past everyone. Turns around and decapitates the Black Orc, so there are no witnesses to his foolish charge in there. Ironbreakers still remaining to hold the line. Goblins are in a bit of a pickle here. More Fanatics do come down. Now, we've had so many Fanatics swinging in, doing some good damage so far. They've been well placed as well, hitting quite key targets, trying to break up our line, but they do also hit some of their friendly Gobbos, and the Gobbos don't like that whatsoever. Gyrocopter is going to be used here to chase down routing Black Orcs, and we do have the Skyhammer coming back into the fray alongside these Brimstone guns. Balance power is slightly against us. It is looking a little bit bleak now because the Death Creepers are chasing down Miners. We really don't have that much range left at all, but we do have the White Dwarf, of course, and when the White Dwarf still lives, there is always hope. but the Gyrocopters are out of ammunition, which does crush hope a little bit, but you never know. There may be hope just yet, as the Skyhammer does get beat back a little bit by the Giant Roadshell Hag. Grombrindle is going to try and chase down her ugly ass and drive her from the field of battle, but she's, like a coward she is, going to be fleeing, although getting caught up by Grom, which is rather hilarious. And our Flash Bomb's going to go down, and we get some good shots connecting with Grom before turning our rage onto the Giant Roadshell Hag. Flash Bomb is such a useful ability, and I've seen a lot more Dwarf players not bring Grombrindle. They say he's not worth the cost, but I really, really do think that the Flash Bomb is very, very powerful. Spirit goes down on the Ironbreakers. Grom is still standing firm at the moment, but Grombrindle is full health pretty much at the moment, and dishing out the damage to some pesky Night Goblins and Goblins. And the Gyrocopter is currently focusing down Grom the Paunch. It may be better for me to target the infantry, I think, here a little bit, and try to force him off the field, but I really want to do as much damage to Grom as possible, because he's simply, there's no reason for Ice to engage him for longer than like 2 seconds. Just ride in, hit, run away, ride in, hit, run away, and get all his regen. So I realised he was probably going to hit his healing cap, so I just want to do damage where possible. Unfortunately, our Ironbreakers are running for their lives. Gyrocopters will be darting in and charging into these Gobbos and Death Creepers, doing a little bit of cycle charging, which is all good. They're multi-model units, so it's all fine. Grombrindle is going to be fighting his hardest, trying to deal with the Giant Roadshell Hag here, lifting his mighty cleaving axe, and she's got a lot of HP still left, but her healing cap is within sight, which is very good news for us. Gobbos try to pin Grombrindle, but you cannot pin in this much swagger, and he's going to be driving forth, looking to save the Skyhammer. More Gyrocopters as well, cycle charging down those Goblins. Blackhawks are coming back to the fray, but we still have some ammo left on our Gyrocopters, and at this point I'd actually forgotten I had more bombs on these guys, because I'd used my bombs up with the Skyhammer, so we could have used them a lot more effectively, I think, to bomb down the enemy, but still, we will be bringing some of those into the later parts of the game. Good play by Ice here, going to be using the Death Creepers to keep Grombrindle away from trying to save these Gyrocopters, but all three do get up into the air, so it's not the end of the world here today. In the distance, little Gobbos as well as the Night Goblin Shaman are being used to chase off Ironbreakers, which is very good value there. Try to surround and eliminate Grombrindle is the best bet for sure. Although Grom the Paunch is getting a little bit over-eager here. You really don't want to tussle with Grombrindle. Some more bombing runs do come in from the basic Gyrocopters this time, annihilating Gobbos, and there's some Blackhawks here, which we do another bombing run on. Death Creepers again have regen, so much regeneration in this build. The Skyhammers will need to fall back here though, and try to get up into the sky where possible. Grombrindle once again gets charged here by Grom the Paunch, but he's not having any of it, slapping Grom back down to just 670 HP, but he will flee like the cowardly Gobbo he is before the might of the Dwarven Lord. But that did cause big problems for me. He's very close to breaking, and he actually does break here. The Gyrocopters continue to chase him to try to finish him off, though the Giant Roadshell Hag is coming back to aid and support. You would like to think we can chase him off here, get him off the battlefield, and basically the game would be ours. But unfortunately, I'm not sure if this is a bug or if this is designed. Grom just rallies, like, when the Gyrocopters are, like, right next to him and trying to attack him. But this has happened multiple times with Gyrocopters, and it will happen multiple more times here today as well. I'm not sure if they've implemented, there was this idea once that units, if they had so much more value than the unit chasing them, they would just rally. I'm not sure if that's been implemented, but it does seem to happen multiple times here. You'll see the Giant Roadshell Hag as well is being forced back, driven away by Grombrindle and the Gyrocopters, and though they do bump and grind up against her, she'll just quite comfortably rally here and come back into the fray. Skyhammers are retreating now, which is a little bit of a disaster for me, but again, they don't exactly have the greatest melee attack. I mean, melee attack 50 is actually very impressive, but only 6 melee defense does make them a little bit squishy. At this point, the Greenskins, of course, shall be fleeing with the Giant Roadshell Hag, looking to regenerate up as much as possible. Grom's getting dangerously close to his healing cap, and at this point, I'm relatively confident, but not as confident as I would like to be. You can never really count out Grom, plus a Giant Roadshell Hag with that Spirit Leech to try to bring down Grombrindle. Opponent is kind of bouncing this way and that way, trying to avoid as many confrontations as with the White Dwarf as possible. But eventually he's going to have to commit, and we're simply going to come in with a Flash Bomb, learn the melee defense, and then commit our Gyrocopters to this fight. In the distance, you can see the Ironbreakers actually rally here with just 11 models and start going about butchering those Gobbos. Death Creepers do have the Great Un is here currently popped on them, buffing up their leadership, which is very good news for them, as the Giant Roadshell Hag once again cycles into the rear of Grombrindle. But that Dowie resolution, that Dowie kind of like resolve and just gritty determinedness is keeping me in this just about. Grombrindle once again eats a rear charge from Grom the Paunch, but we're dealing with the Death Creepers rather nicely. It looks like those guys are indeed going to break and be forced off here. In the distance, Ironbreakers still are, they're just actually having a little bit of a showdown with the Gobos right now, just staring at each other. They do engage eventually. Gyrocopters have broken the Death Creepers here, which is good to see. And it looks like one Gyrocopter did explode, unfortunately. But in glorious purpose and fury, Giant Ritual Hag is close to breaking once more. Grumbundle looking to slap him where possible. Band's power is massively, massively against us, which is very surprising. I mean, Grumbundle can easily solo these guys. I guess the game's taken into fact that my opponent does indeed have a caster, but it's worrying because a lot of my troops may lose hope and actually break. You can see Ironbreakers have got the charge on the Goblins, which means they probably will actually win that matchup with the low leadership of the Gobos. Giant Ritual Hag is being forced back here. Grom the Paunch tries to charge in once again on the White Dwarf, who will counter-charge to the best of his abilities. Luckily, because of the changes to Master Dwarfs, they're actually pretty good at eating charges now. Grom the Paunch is wavering once more, down to just 700 HP, and Grumbundle does engage in combat. Gyrocopters looking to try to chase off Grom this time, and he's so low leadership. Hopefully he won't be able to do a sneaky little rally here. Down to minus 15 leadership. Goblin's running for his life. Giant Ritual Hag is broken as well by just simply being near the glorious Gyrocopters. And it looks like the Death Creepers and the Night Goblin Shaman will be trying to hold back Grumbundle while these other units attempt to rally. In the distance, we do chase off some troops with our Ironbreakers, and they can now come back towards the main scrap. Another Flash Bomb does go down. It may seem like a bit of a waste because we're not using it against elite units. But honestly, I just want to get these guys off the field as quickly as possible. And it does allow the Gyrocopters to swoop in and try to break the Death Creepers off. Sneaky Stabbing has been popped on them as well. So they've got pretty decent melee attacks right now. And they're poisoning Grumbundle. But he's a thick, doughy boy. He does not like kind of breaking and running. I mean, he's unbreakable, but he doesn't like dying, I suppose. But I don't think anyone particularly is a fan of dying. I don't know. Maybe people are. The Grom the Paunch, though, is being chased off, down to just 340 HP, so there should be no reason for him to come back. Minus 10 leadership, and with our units so close to him, that should not be able to recover. Gyrocopters trying to protect Grumbundle here. We are, you know, buying a bit of time, actually. Giant Ritual Hag probably needs to come in and start attacking, likewise with the Death Creepers, but he's maybe wanting to swoop over here to try to save these Gyrocopters if possible. Ironbreakers are on the approach. They will be well-added units here to the Dowie force. Only 260 HP left, but that's still like 9 or 10 Ironbreakers, and they're down for a scrap. Grumbundle does beat back the Death Creepers. Gyrocopters come in for another slamming attack, breaking them once more. They're breaking multiple times now, and eventually that will shatter them. Giant Ritual Hag is trying her a little heart out here, trying her best to cycle charge us where possible, but luckily the Gyrocopters are kind of blocking a lot of that pursuit, and now the Night Goblin Shaman shall be cowardly fleeing for his life, which again, you know, he's a gobbo. It's kind of expected. Gyrocopters are forced off. The Ironbreakers are on approach there, which is quite nice. And in the distance, you can see Grom is just about to be escorted away. Minus 10 leadership still, and Band's power goes massively in our favour. Now that Grom does get escorted off the field, you can see that flip so quickly there. Death Creepers coming for a charge, but we have another Flash Bomb left in the back pocket. Grumbundle certainly had a few of them in his pouch today. And he is bloodied, he is tired, but he shall roar victorious as the forces, the nemesis of the Dowie, flee before the might of the White Dwarf. What did you guys think of that one? Very well played to Ice Power, was a true champ, and I'm going to be hopefully casting some more of the games we had when I get back from holiday. So all of these have been done way in advance. So hello from the past, this was actually recorded like a week ago. Or maybe not quite a week ago, nearly a week ago. I am on holiday from Monday to Friday this week of this release, so apologies if I'm a bit slow to reply to people and all that good stuff, but I have worked very hard to try to do enough videos that they will cover me not being here. I'll still have a video a day. But well played to Ice. We had some really awesome games. There's a Norskan game between Norska and VP that I'm probably going to cast as well up against Ice, which was really quite some good fun. But yeah, what did you guys think of that one? The Dowie counter picking myself into Greenskins in a finals of a tournament, and it went pretty damn well. Hope you guys enjoyed. We will get to damage dealt and damage value in just a second, but if you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe as well for more glorious Total War Warhammer action. Both things really help the channel out a huge amount and help push it out to more people so we can convert them to this beautiful Warhammer game. As well as a comment down below, what did you think of our build? I honestly think going with the Royal Dowie Air Force is the best way to win this. I'm not going to say it's the only way, but it is certainly the most optimal way, I think, of playing this matchup up against the Greenskins. But again, who was your MVP? What was your favourite moment of the battle? What would you like to see more of on the channel? Or just yell quack at me. I do enjoy that quite a bit as well. There are links down below in the description to my Discord, where you can submit replays to the channel to be cast. You can chill out with a load of cool people. We've got over 650-ish members now, where you can practice against new players, experienced players, get involved in tournaments, events, and just chill out with a load of cool people. It is a lot of fun down there. And also, there are links to my Patreon in the Discord if you'd like to support the channel, as well as my Gamers Planet account if you want to pre-order the new DLC for Total War Warhammer at a discounted price, as well as pretty much any game on Steam, including all of the Warhammer games. But yes, that was, honestly, I just played a ridiculously close semi-final against someone as well. And they cast some of those games, I'm not going to say too much. And was pretty knackered from that, and then we came straight in up against Ice, one of the most talented players at the moment in the tournament scene, and had some really fun times. And Grombrindle, man, you champ, 2,654 damage value, nearly 12k damage dealt, and up to 78 kills. He's certainly put on an absolutely fantastic showing. Probably pulling down his trousers and showing his bum to the fleeting Greenskins at the end there. Miners were just chaffed to hold the line there. The Miners of Blast Charge got some really good damage value though. 910 and 547 damage value. Nom nom nom. Dwarf Warriors, as well as the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, did eat a lot of the early Fanatics, as Ice tried to break through that front line as quickly as possible with a bit of an icebreaker with those Fanatics. So these guys didn't play super well for themselves. However, the Ironbreakers performed really good. 1,200 damage value and 1,377 on the Regiment of Renowned. The Rangers did okay. 570 damage value is good work and paying for themselves. The other, slightly worse, 356. But this was just a counter if my opponent did go something like 5 units of skirmish cav, 5 archers as well, and all that kind of stuff. And decker lines can be brought here. There's a few ways Greenskins can play this matchup. So they did their job just pushing away the skirmishers when they needed to. For our Air Force, only 430 damage on this gyrocopter. The other one, though, 1,150. Brimstone guns 1,500 and a pitiful 153. That was really down to bad micro for me, getting this gyrocopter caught and killed early on. We could have been far more comfortable, I think, in this game if we had kept that alive. But the MVP, man, the Skyhammer Gyro Bomber, 2,608 damage value, 16k damage dealt, 197 kills. By far, in my opinion, the MVP, alongside Grombrindle, who was equally important to this victory. Well played to Ice once again. Grom the Paunch, only 524 damage value, did spend the majority of the game running for his life, which is the correct decision. I think Ice dragging away the gyrocopters from the main fight and just trying to absorb as much ammunition as possible was the right move, so I think he made a good tactical choice there. The Giant Patrol Hag was a big pain, of course, 1,500 damage value. Poor little Gobos only got 385, sadly. The Goblins kind of just failed really badly, likewise the Nasty Skulkers, who did eat some early blasting charges, and one unit eventually surrounded Grombrindle, which is a good situation for them, and then the Skyhammer came back and bombed the living daylights out of them, so they weren't too happy with that. As for all the Fanatics, 536, 1,386 damage value, and 500 on the loons. There's been a lot of talk recently about Night Goblin Fanatics, and if they're overpowered or not. Again, leave your thoughts down below. I know the general consensus is that they are overpowered. There's some really interesting arguments made by Intisti, actually, that they're dodgeable, and with good micro, they're actually not, let's say, super powerful, which is definitely a valid take as well. I guess it depends where you judge balance. Should it be done only at the top level, or should it be done like through the mid-level and bottom level as well? We'll have to wait and see, but again, a lot of Greenskin changes are coming, probably very close to this video coming out, actually. Like a week or two, Greenskins will be getting heavily changed, I believe, in the next DLC. Blackhawk struggled. I mean, 98 and 31 kills is great, but they already got bogged down by Dwarf Warriors, and then those bombing runs finished them off. I love the Night Goblin Squig Hopper picks here from Ice. They can certainly do some good work. 868 damage value, 592 here. And the Skirmish Cav, the 2 Regiment round did amazing. 1,336 damage value onto Death Creepers, 747 on the Morgulus Mangy Marauders, despite being focused down heavily. The other unit, unfortunately, faring far worse. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this game. I know I've been doing a lot of Dowie content recently. There was meant to be a video I was meant to do for ages now of how to face against Dowie with Lizardmen, and that shall be coming out very soon when I get back from holiday. I will endeavour to try to do that video as quickly as possible. But anyway, guys, until next time, hope you enjoyed, and peace, and as always, stay awesome.